Yo, welcome back to another episode of Sparks Fly. Here he is, just in case you didn't know what I was on about. Sorry it's been a while. I've been doing 110 other things at my main channel and my main job, the Electrician. But it's finally come around to actually thought of an idea. The thing is, I want to do as much stuff as this as possible, but I can't. I've run out of ideas to a point other than loads of metal, which I'm not going to do as much because I've realised how much gas costs, and it costs a lot. So my plan today is, because obviously you've done a lot of the smelting, I've got a lot of the copper bars, and from that I've got to sand and then polish it. But by sanding and polishing creates a hell of a lot of dust, airborne all around the unit, all over my computer, all that sort of stuff. So I was thinking some way of containing it. So I'm going to build a sanding box, an extraction sanding box with lights in it. So Amazon over the weekend, or eBay, whatever it was, I bought this Metabo dust extractor thingy, my bobby. So I attempted to fit this on a Saturday night after a few beers, didn't work. So I'm going to put that together. I'm going to make, been to B&Q this morning, got them to chop some wood up for me, got a bit of spare. It's going to be my box, and then I bought some LED tape, and this is the recessed channels that you can put the lights in. So on the inside I'm going to router, where I can find my router somewhere, van volt maybe, I'm not sure. Router out and do it lit up on the inside with the bezel on, so to cover it from dust. Hopefully, in my head as usual, this makes perfect sense and will work beautifully. But I know what it's like when I'm smelting copper or stripping wire. It never goes forward, never goes to plan. So I need to get these together first. I don't, but I'm going to. Got a little thing that my daughter was wheeling around the house and hit everyone in the shins. I'll put this together somehow. I'll put you on the side, do a bit of a time lapse, and then sort of figure out where we're going to go here. With the box wise, we've obviously got a top, a back, and two sides. There's no front or bottom, obviously, because what my plan is when I've got my vise bolted to the thingy, I bought some handles, I can lift this on top, we'll cut a hole in the side, somehow dog that into the side of that, and yeah, hopefully it'll work. It just doesn't make any sense. Place the fan housing 7 with the motor facing downwards on the workbench, or something stable to support it, whatever. Loosen 3 hexagon nuts, washers 9 shown on both sides. First off, there's no washers on anything. Anything? Why is there no washers on anything? So you're wrong. Number 8 and 9. Right, 8 and 9. See all, trying to get the line. See, oh, loosen that and the washers. Oh yeah, yeah. What washers? Anywhere? None. Still no washers. Right, brilliant. Put these back on. Also, what's confused me, it says undo 3 washers when there isn't washers. Undo 3 bolts when you need to do 2. And then to start with, it says put the sticker on. If you look from the diagram, what's confused me more, that Metabo on this diagram needs to be at the bottom. That sticker right there should be at the bottom, not near the motor. But now, it's near the motor. Anyway, moving on. That's on there. Now what do you want me to do? Right. Right, finally got it together. See how well it works. Right, so now I've got that annoying thing out of the way. I'll sort of show you what ain't gonna do it. Right, I bought this off Amazon. I was only going cheap with, to be honest, most of this build, because everything I'm buying at the moment is obviously just coming straight out of my pocket to make videos. But I can't complain. Cool. That's me opening that side. This side's already open. Right, so this should be metre long. Is it metre? 2 meters. Oh my god, how much did I order? Oh, I'd ordered 2 boxes. Oh dear, that's why it cost so much. Anyway, get. So these are the grooves that I will router in to the plywood, if this is the plywood. Boom, like that. And then the LED strip will sit inside, and then you've got the coverings that then sit on top. How many is it? God, I ordered way too many. I only needed a few. Whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to sort of map out now. I'll just put it together to show you roughly how we're going to want it, and whereabouts we can stick the LED tape. I bought an LED tape that I reused from home, and then I bought a new cheap one off Amazon to see how good it's going to be. If the light's absolutely dog, there is a CEF right around the corner. So I got the guy at B&Q to cut me 600 by 600. I know that's really good now, you can't see anything, can you? Let's put it on the side. Oh, it's just going to be a cube with 2 sides missing. So, that way. I've realised now that I'm going to have to use the table saw and cut one down because I'm overlapping stuff. Well, it's a big box really, isn't it? Maybe I should trim it down. Do I need it this deep? I don't need it 600 deep, do I? Let's trim it down to 400. I'll still keep it 600 wide, so I've got the angles to get in, but I'll trim it down to 400 sides. Right. So this is my Clark woodworker. So this was my granddad was a carpenter, so this was my granddad's table saw. It's missing the guard, classic carpenter. And then it got passed to my dad, and then it's been given, well, technically it was given to me. My brother pinched this for years, and no, it's not staying in there. I'm going to get, in the process of being deboshed to get a new table saw. But this is years and years old, it still cuts like a dream. But for the first time ever, even though I am covered in sawdust, like it's spat out the top because there's no guard, I just bodged the Matago in to see, and has collected a fair bit of sawdust. So, because when I used this the other week to make some wardrobes under the stairs from where they're off, in here was absolutely covered in dust. So I had a good clean up at the weekend. So, right. So in theory, that's how I want it to look. I managed to clamp that. So I'll clamp one at a time, get it drilled, get it screwed the way it's going to be. And then from there, let me just start. I've emptied my entire van over the weekend. So if that's always going to be bolted to the edge of my worktop, I can pull this down. I can get an angle grinder. Oh, we went on a journey then. Get my angle grinder in, bring this over the edge if I wanted to. I was going to do the extraction to the right, I think, but maybe the back. I think the back's going to work better. Yeah, I'll get some pilot holes done, get some screws in, and from there I can get my measurements. What I was going to do with this is router in, up, across and down. So I've roughly got it together the way it's going to be. Very simple box. And also, I went for this ply, and you guys will know the difference between this ply and the more darker ply. for a full sheet, the darker black, £42 in B&Q. 42 of the Queen's English pounds. Anyway, so I went for this one, which is about £32, so hence that. I'm going to paint it anyway. What I'd rather do, because obviously I was running a strip up the middle, but I need to put that in. So I think what I might end up doing is just running the strip to the top and ignoring the bottom. But I have no idea how much light these LEDs are going to give out at all. What I end up doing is just sticking a panel in the top, but we'll see. It's good to learn. So I'm just going to measure this out. I've got a 4-inch hole cutter in the van. This is slightly bigger than 4-inch, so we'll have to just run the route around. The root of the router, whatever you want to call it, on the inside just to open it up a bit and get that wedged in nice. So let me just measure this. There we go. Hello. Hello, Jackie. So now on, I'm going to measure out centre, 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 straight across. I'll leave the back for now and see if I need to add in more lights afterwards. So we'll just do a continuous up and across and down. Mark out that, and then we get the router out. Then and this is a little palm router. I don't know how you want me to say it. Raspberry router. In first lockdown, when I redid my kitchen worktops and realised that the plunge depth of this is non-existent compared to a worktop, and nearly took my eye out when this flew out with me. But anyway, right, I think I've got that set up right. This one's clamped down to the desk, that one's clamped down to this. Yeah, protection, and yeah, we'll see what it goes like. Right, let's give it a go. So it's flush, but it's fairly snug. I mean, it's movement, but bit of a fail that side. But hey, I'd never do this, so bit of a learning curve. So yeah, I'm just going to duplicate that across on the other two now. I'm just going to put my GoPro on charge for me, just get a bit flat, and we'll run back when they're all routed out. I open that up. That should be like from the inside. Stuck a bit of tape around it just to seal it up a bit more. This is my right hand panel. So I wish, and I do this all the time, I wish I'd have just had a practice on a off cut to do the first cut, because these two have come out really well and really nice. And obviously this is the top that you saw me cut, which is flared out at the end. It's not really going to bother me that much, because most of the time the only two ones that you're going to see are the side panels. You won't really be looking at the roof on it. So it is what it is. Just going to mark these down, get these cut. I don't think I have a hacksaw here. I use the angle grinder, stick them in that, and get them cut, and then figure out how I'm going to attach them through, because I was going to put some small screws in it, but to be fair, I do have a few tiny ones. So let me get a few things out of the van, get these cut up, and we can place them in, and then from there we're going to have to figure out as and when how we're going to pass the LED into it, and then externally with a cable. My plan was I was probably just going to router a channel in the top of it or in the side, just put a slither of wood over the top of that just to enclose it, make it a bit safer, and then obviously it's got plugged up on the end. Right, next thing, I have found some diddly little screws, got a little drill bit. I'm going to put 3 screws into it to support it, especially for the time being. Right, so my next thing, now they're screwed in place, just believe me by the way, I am just winging this. You probably can't tell. Just a cheap LED set off Amazon, and also they are dimmable ones. I think these are about £8. Go cheap or go home, you know what I'm saying? Oh. There's a lot on there. How long is it? Oh, I bought a 5 metre one. Cool. Cool. Right. So I want to be passing this externally, so I can either cut and feed, do a very thin hole through the metal and the wood to pass this through, or just make one big enough, which I'll probably just do just to pass the end through. Just pull this cable on, sticker off. And we're probably going to want to do it back left, because then, no, sorry, back right, because that's I plan to do it over here, so that's where the plug will be. So we'll get a right size drill bit, we'll drill that straight through. I do a tiny pilot bit through and then drill into it, so I'm not blasting out, because obviously it's plywood, and when you drill through it, it tends to splinter. So I'll get the right drill bit, cut that through, pass it through, and then we can snip it off. Right, so that will, I'm going to go around and just sand some of these edges off in a minute. That will go through, so from there I can start my first LED tape across, stick that round, so I can give it all a measure in a minute. But I think what's probably better, I'm going to go around, just give everything a bit of a sand down, get some of these edges off, screw it together, and then put the tape in place just in case I get the measurements wrong. Right, so we've got it screwed together now, and to be fair, I'm fairly happy with it. That's jointed up. I didn't think, afterthought, that I shouldn't have routed all the way through to the top, because now we've got gaps here. I mean, it will be sealed. I can bung it up, it's just, yeah, hindsight. I can get measurements off that now, 600, 600, and our measurement, and then we can get that in. But equally, the cable's then going to come out here, which I don't think is going to be too bad, because I can either just put a tack on there. I mean, I can router it in, but it's pretty pointless, because it's just going to be that, and I'll just screw the dimmer to the side of it. So I'll get a measure out, it's sticky back, we'll get that in, and then we can screw the back on as well. Nice. Ready? Hey, it's not too bad. Obviously, when we put the diffusers on the front, it's going to darken it down a bit, but I quite like it's got a dimmer on it. Right, I'll stop messing around. I'll get the things cut, we'll clip them on, we'll put the back on. That's on. And I've done the same stupid thing which I did last time in one of these, is I've not brought the LED straight to here, which you'll see. So it's missing about an inch, but that's that done. I'll get the back screwed on and put a few more screws in it, get secure, and we might be able to give it a test run. Right, so back's on, screwed on, plugged in. I put this here. It's one I made earlier. It's about 1.5 kilos worth copper ingot, bar, whatever you want to call it. So that's screwed together now, and if I turn this light off, because I didn't have this one on before, so that's how dark it normally is when you try and angle grind, really. So let's see the difference. So yeah, with it on the top and the sides, maybe one here, but I think anything that would do is just collect dust as it's going around. But I'm really chuffed with that. Let me give it a test run. We'll plug the extractor in, which is over there. We'll set this up. I'll just put a screw onto here, and we'll give it a go. And then I think I've got a lick of paint. I'm just going to give it a lick of paint, and I bought some handles as well just to pick it up on the side. Right, so we're all hooked up. That's belted down. Obviously with this, as and when I want to, I can drag this forward to try and get it as close and far back as I want. My turbo's hooked up, so got my sanding disc, 80 grit sanding disc in the angle grinder. So we'll turn this on. This is noisy, so we'll just bear with me. We'll just go for a run. I'm just going to stick a mask on and some ear defenders as well. And it was pretty successful. So we have got some copper dust here, which is gonna happen anyway, but at least it's now contained rather than spreading across everywhere down here. There's none on the floor, it's enclosed here. And I've just looked in the bag. You can't see on the camera, but you can just see all the copper filers in there. So the fact that it's done exactly what I wanted to do. I knew it was gonna be this sort of, it's not gonna catch everything unless you put sort of 2 ducts in, but yeah, I'm well happy. And from there as well, all the sawdust in there has got a good orange tint to it now because it's got copper sat on top of it. So Yes, it worked. It's not the best looking thing in the world, but it's done its job. Hasn't really cost much money. Well, that did, but this bit didn't. That's annoying, but hey ho. I'll just grab the hoover out, just hoover the rest of that up, but so far success. I'll see if I've got some paint, give it a lick of paint, and I'll tell you a few things at the end. Ready? I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool. So the paint I used was the same paint that I had lying around there, so I thought, why not colour match? Boom. Got the handles on the side, there and there. Did it as a yellow inside because I was going to paint it white and I didn't have any white, but I had some yellow left. So yeah, I think it's come out really well. Looks smart. I might do a few more coats, but I'm not really that fussed because I know for a fact this is going to get filthy at some point. Retardo, I've just took a picture for the thumbnail, that's why that's there. Yeah, pretty chuffed with it, to be honest. And the lights aren't too bad. I could always add some more, but for what it is in there, there's plenty of light compared to that. So yeah, hey, good job. Anyway, yeah, so that's another video of me just messing around building stuff, which I'm enjoying. Let me know if there's anything that you guys want to see me build or try and do. I've still got stuff to do with the epoxy resin. I've still got loads of stuff that I want to make with the furnace, but everything's sort of in the air with everything at the moment. With my old van's actually, it's outside at the moment, but my old van's come back to me, so the process of, like you've seen on my main channel, I'm going to auction it off and do raffles with it and all that sort of stuff, but for the time being it's just sat in here, so it's in the way. So yeah, video wise, I've done a bit in the background trying to do some bits and bobs, but annoyingly I did have a spare 2 hours last Monday, and I thought, oh, I'll try and make a sand casting of a dagger. Like I said, I wanted to do a copper dagger. Didn't expect it to work very well, but my hands were pain. But it did. I mean, I didn't record any of it because I just thought it was going to be naff like all the other ones. But I could sand this back; it actually come out really well. But I will redo the video, redo it at some point, remake the mold. I need to order some more sand. I've still got some plaster cast that I want to cast up, bake the cast itself to get rid of all the moisture and see if it's any better for pouring, for moulding, but that's many, many Mondays away for me to record. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. You'll see this in future videos, hopefully. It will always be sat in the background. We didn't think of a name for it. Clive, we'll call it Clive. Anyway, remember to subscribe, stick the notification bell on, all that jazz. I'll see you soon.